Hello, my name is Sunmoon Bay, and I'm representing Above Average Fitness, my own fitness brand. Um, I will not only be acting as the coach, but as the client in this tutorial. The sport in question is powerlifting. I am in the off season of the powerlifting season, which for me is ranging in 8 months. I won't have another meet for 8 months, so right now I'm in the off season and I will take this time to take you through my off-season program, how I keep myself and ready myself for preseason, as well as the season coming. So, uh, thank you, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial.
Okay, okay, everyone. So I'd like to apologize. My gym has a policy. They're not very keen on people recording. So at times I sneak video where I can. So right now, because there were so many people in the gym, what you're gonna see is my flexibility and my mobility exercises that I would do just before a bench press routine. So I'm just going to take you through these very quickly, and then we're going to actually get to the footage of that I could sneak in the gym. So right now, what you're seeing is basically me. I'm doing some shoulder mobility stretches and exercises, just using a rod to work my shoulders, and this helps just the mobility in general. I tend to like to do this for about maybe sets of 8 or 10. Turn to the side so everybody can see a little bit better. And in the gym, I would typically use a band, or maybe if they have like a small uh, piece of PCP pipe. Bands work well too, but I like to do this, and it helps my shoulder, helps the mobility of my shoulder. Doing some stretches, stretching out my triceps. Now, typically, I'll do maybe about a good set of maybe 10 with these, holding it. For the purpose of the video, I shorten the amount I'm doing time-wise. It can eat up the time very quickly. Just wanted to show some of the exercises that I typically do. Some arm raises. I typically like to do these right here, and I try to actually stress, and I can see if I can show everyone that right here. All right, because typically when you raise your shoulders up after a lot of exercises where you're doing a lot of forward motion, like typically like bench pressing, what can take place is your delts get very tight. All right, your interior deltoids get tighter. All right, your muscles in your shoulders and your just everything. You start to have a more hunched over type of look to your body. So this exercise I typically like to do to stretch out those muscles, and it's really just raising my arms up, and I'm looking in the camera to make sure that my arms are raising up instead of this way. And that's typically how you can tell. Also, I'm looking to see if my body is trying to curve to make that uh, arm position go up. This is typically how I do warm up for the bench press. Just trying to feel out, stretch those shoulders, those arms. I'll do this actually a few times, and it actually helps a lot because it puts more awareness in my mind of the tightness that can develop within my shoulders and delts. Okay, next up is a band stretch. For my shoulders again, I'm just going to grab the back of it and I'm going to pull it over, which is going to allow me to pull my shoulder up and really get a nice stretch in this area right here. Right here. This really stretches out the area of the back and in the shoulder. And I like to do this again right before I do a bench press session. And that's literally, I'm trying to pull my arm up here, which stretches the lats and the delts. It feels really good and it helps to really loosen. Them. As you can see, the mobility that has been taken away from a lot of bench pressing and a lot of back work. This helps a lot. There. I'll hold it for a few. Hold it for a nice count of 10, maybe a little more. We'll do some band stretches. These are wide stretches. I like to start behind my back. This just helps to put blood into, again, that shoulder area. There we go. Now from the front. Careful not to hit myself in the face. Easy. It really helps to put blood into the shoulder area. Okay, so next, I'm in the gym again, and what you're gonna see is I have a hand massager, and I typically like to use this to go over my body just before a gym session. Again, just like to let everybody know, again, I think I said it before, but my gym has they feel strange when it comes to people filming in the gym. So I took this footage as quickly as possible, and it's a little quickly, but I just want you all to see kind of what I do. I'm going over my arms with the massager, my biceps, my triceps, my delts, and my chest. This actually helps to loosen up the muscles. I typically, again, I do this either right before I do any type of stretching or mobility exercises, or I'll do it directly after, and it just kind of helps to get any little knots out just before. I'm quickly demonstrating this so that I don't get caught filming in the gym. See, I'm doing that on the side, and that's basically it. I would normally I would take a little bit longer in the process, but again, for the sake of this final, for the ISSA final that I'm taking, I just wanted to show quickly a little bit of some of what I do just prior or part of my warm-up. So that is why I'm including this. Okay. Right now, you're about to see the start to my off-season bench press regimen. I'm starting out with no weight on the bar. My purpose for this is to take my body through the specific cues, as well as to prep my body for what is to come. This is more mental than anything. So as you see, I'm going to be making sure that my arch is secure, making sure that I'm gripping the bar. Basically everything that I'm doing right now is like a checklist prior to this. So this is like the pre-warm-up that you're about to see right here. And I'm going to just, as you can see, I take the position. I try to make sure I repeat this every time, no matter if I'm lifting heavy or if I'm lifting moderate. This is a must. Getting tight in my traps, making sure that the arch is there. The gluteus maximus remains on the bench as well as the shoulders, pulling the bar off, and we're off. Right now in my mind, I'm going through all of the cues that's needed, how the elbows are to bend, gripping the bar tightly, keeping the energy flowing through my legs into the ground as well as into the bench. So it's traveling from my toes all the way up my legs into the bench through that arch. That was the first part of that right there. This next weight right here you see is 135. This is also part of my warm-up. Again, it's all about warming the body up slowly. I like to use this active stretch, as is sometimes called. Again, making sure that energy, make sure the balls of the foot are placed firmly into the ground. That energy is now being moved through the floor from my traps all the way to the floor, pulling out bar, and we're moving as one unit. And again, this is just my warm-up, and this is a set of 10 for the warm-up. Because this is lightweight, I will be doing sets of 10 all the way up into my work set, which is 185. That was the first set. I'm gonna do 2 more. If I'm correct, it's 2 more of these warm-up sets before I actually get to my work set. I might have actually deleted the third warm-up set. I'm not exactly certain. Making sure I'm in the arch position. Making sure the upper back is tight. Making sure my butt is on the bench. Feet, balls of the foot placed into the ground, pressing into the ground. Energy is traveling all the way up through my legs, all the way into my back, pulling that weight out, and then starting movement. Breathing, making sure we're moving as one single unit. And again, this is how I typically start out my bench press, my bench day. Now, moving on again, gonna go to the secondary, this 185. This is the actual work weight. Driving those traps into the bench. Get extended as we start out almost in that arch position. Again, pushing that energy through into the ground, all the way through the body, into the bench. Gripping the bench hard, and from there, this will be a set of 10. And I'll do normally I'll do 4 sets of 10 with this moderate weight. And again, this is specifically because it's more of a hypertrophy phase for me. And as I get closer to the preseason, I will be actually raising those reps, not too close. I like to say mid-off season, I'll start to raise my reps from 4 to almost 6. And again, it's my specific thought is to induce hypertrophy in the muscle, taking short breaks, really focusing on the main lift and the accessories needed to strengthen up all of the muscles in the movement. That was the triceps, the pectoralis major and minor, the delts. And you'll see some of those accessory exercises later in the video. I typically choose one major accessory movement to work against or act as almost the contrary or antagonist to the protagonist movement. Meaning, if I'm doing a bench press, I'm going to pick a rowing movement, which almost directly looks contrary to that. And the next movement you will see is going to be a seal row. That is one of my main accessory movements because it's almost similar to the bench press. It's almost like a bench press in reverse. Taking the time, looking through. Okay, everyone. So the next exercise up to bat after our bench press session is going to be the seal row. The seal row is my number one accessory back exercise to do next to pull-ups. All right. And the reasons why are the benefits are just countless. Overall, the muscles targeted used in this exercise are the overall back. All right, I'm gonna give you a small list of some of the muscles that are engaged when training this exercise. And that would be the trapezius, middle trapezius, lower rhomboids, latissimus dorsi, teres major, deltoid posterior. That's just to name a few. All right, there's much more than that. All right, it affects the upper back, all right, and the lower lats. But that also deals with if you're using a barbell or dumbbells. I typically like to use dumbbells because it allows me a lot more engagement of my upper back, all right, to strengthen that. The carryover into powerlifting is the fact of when you're bench pressing, you want to have a strong, thick back, all right? That's what you're pushing from. That allows you to also that allows your stability in holding the weight, all right, holding the barbell above you, all right, and your overall stability in pushing. I know it might not seem like it, but your back has a lot to do with the bench press, and the seal row directly connects to that. Another thing of it is that the bench press, all right, while working the anterior deltoids, all right, the pectoralis major, all right, yes, your rectus abdominis and many other of your the muscles in the front of your body, the seal row works the antagonist muscles that are of those muscles that are in the bench press. So these exercises go hand in hand. I'm gonna show this right here. Oh, I do want to talk about setup. If you can see the boxes, it is very important to make sure that the bench is on two boxes because you want your arms to dangle. All right, you do not want the weight to touch the floor. These weights are actually on top of two other little boxes. All right, you'll see me slide them to the middle, all right, when I go to do my actual lift. And I typically do 4 sets of 10 with a moderate weight. All right. Also, I would like everybody to take notice. I've just engaged my glutes as well as my abdominal muscles. That's going to help me from any hyperextension of my lumbar spine. All right, which ironically, I do the same thing when bench pressing. So it's, again, the seal row is almost directly the reverse of the bench press. See, I'm pulling the weight, engaging it, pulling it directly into focusing on the inner lats and rhomboids. And also, my biceps are getting worked tremendously. So this is also a more bang for your buck type of exercise. Another thing I want to make mention of is the fact of no body English. All right. This exercise takes away a lot of inertia. All right. Which basically means that your body is forced. Your body is forced to keep proper technique.